Okay, now in this tutorial we'll continue from our previous tutorial on lighting and an architectural scene using HDRI map. Now in this one we're going to add a Vray Sun to make it to look more realistic and also to cast shadows. Now the first thing I will do is I'll reduce the lighting of this environment. I have to use these high values because I'm not using Vray Sun, but in this time around I'm going to add Vray Sun, so I will reduce this to 1.2, or let's say yes, let's use 1.5, and then reduce this to 7. Okay, now remember what I told you before. Let me add my override material so that it can render very fast. This sheet stop coming out. So now the next thing we're going to do, we switch over to the 4 windows. Now go to this sidebar. Under lights we add Vray lights. So we're going to add Vray Sun. So in this Vray Sun, now all I need to do is I will draw the sun depending on where the sunlight is coming from in that HDRI map. If you notice very well from our rendered work, you see that it's coming from this side, so we'll draw the light from that side. So this is our Vray Sun. So would you like to automatically add a Vray sky environment map? No, we don't want to add it because we already have an environment map in it. Okay, the next thing I will do is come to this side, drag it up to an angle, okay, I think this is good. Then the next thing we are going to do is to set the Vray Sun. Now under the settings, intensity multiplier, reduce it to 0.2. You just want to cast shadow. You don't want the sunlight to affect the lighting of the scene. You just want to achieve getting a shadow in our work. Okay, the next thing is this filter color. I would like to make it a little bit yellowish. I think this is good. Then this shadow subdivision, you can increase it to 8. Okay, let's leave it at 8. Then this shadow bias, leave it at 2. Then the next thing we are going to set is this size multiplier. Now this size multiplier has to do with the blurriness of the shadow. You don't want it to be too sharp, so you increase the value. So with this now, let's render and see what we will have. Now if you look at our rendered work, you see that you are seeing shadows, the sunlight is showing. Then you can still increase the intensity of the environment to make it to be brighter, but then don't put too much sun. You can just increase it a little to make a better rendering. So now in the render settings, select our light, increase the intensity multiplier to 0.35. Then go to the material editor, increase the overall multiplier to 1.7, and then increase this one to 8. Okay, now let's render again and find out what we have this time around. Okay, so this is the final rendering. As you can see, it's looking way better now. So with this now, I will now unclick the override material so that when I render, the material will now render out. So with this, you can get a very good realistic rendering, and I believe that this tutorial will help someone to be able to set up his scene in 3dsmax using Vray lighting and HDRI, and also using Vray sunlight. Thank you very much. Then okay, before I round up, before I close for the day, remember that when you want to do the final rendering and you need a sharp image, a very sharp image, don't forget to go back to your GI settings. Under a radiance map, you choose low, medium, high, or high animation, very high, depending on the scene, the quality of image you want to produce. Remember, depending also on the capability of your laptop, because it can take too much time to render. But if you can check very well, the previous one we rendered, you can see that the image quality is actually very good with very low. So you mustn't increase to high before you can produce a very nice image quality. Then another thing you need to know is in this place, under these global switches, in this, sorry, I'm trying to get something that will help in this rendering. Okay, that's it here. Ambient occlusion. Now this helps in defining the edges of your work. If you look at this image now, you see that there's no difference between this side and this side. It's looking very plain. It's because there are no ambient occlusion. It's just only this one that is showing very well, but this one is not showing any difference here. So by the time you on this ambient occlusion, you can just use 0.8 radius of 100, or you can increase it. When you check, you render and check how it comes out. So let's quickly do a preview render. I'll use render frame and just select that part to see how it will look like. So we have this just very small part, just this part, and to see how it will look like. Then click on render. Okay, when you look at it, you see that it's actually increased it a little, though you can still work on it by rendering a white, kind of a whitish render of this, and then you go to Photoshop and do some little post-production work to make it to come out very well. Thank you very much. See you next time.